Thank you for coming to Compass Starlight. This is going to be a weekend reading, a check-in for the energies for this weekend. See what we're up against. What kind of blessings are coming in for us? Where can we focus our attention? What kind of attributes and characteristics can we embody as we move through this weekend? Reverse, I think. We have geometry and card number 24, and we have Erato, card number 14. We have, that is the Mantegna Tarot. It is my archetype deck, and this one in my hands is the Goddess Guidance Oracle Cards deck from Doreen Virtue. Let's see what kind of oracle we can pull for today. What kind of message? Green Terra. Start delegating. And then finally this deck is the Tarot of the Divine. Tarot of the Divine. Ten of Swords, Seven of Wands, and the Eight of Coins. Okay. Ten of Swords, Seven of Wands, and the Eight of Coins. Looking at these cards, I see a reading that has a strong message of strategy, a message of perseverance and protection, a balance of force and will, and what is meant to be with trust. There's a lot going on in these cards that has to do with how we make our way in the world in regards to the riverbanks, is what I wanted to say. So the water of a river is a force, and yet it is channeled through the river. It flows naturally, but it finds its borders in the boundaries of the riverbanks. And when it gets to be too high, it overflows and can take over those riverbanks. But generally speaking, it flows of its own nature in a direction, at a speed, and it just is. And yet it stays within the confines of the riverbanks. Of course, that's a metaphor. But what are we seeing in these cards, and how does that message relate? The card geometry is the archetype for strategy. So right off the bat, this is a marker, an indication of the energy we are facing. Always weigh carefully the forces at play. Okay, now here we have water flowing through a river betwixt land masses here, a riverbank, and there are mountains off in the distance. No, we'll look through these other cards as well because they are very much connected. All of these cards. So Erato, card number 14, is about integrity. It is the archetype for integrity. This card's message is to blend with the choir while remaining solo. So this is to say, follow your convictions and move about your business as you do, and find a way to flow through the community which may represent the riverbank. Find a way to push through with your momentum, not with excessive force, but within the confines of the structure imposed by community. I'll just note as well that there is a full moon at the feet of the protagonist and a new moon here being examined in the hands of the protagonist. And then we move on here to this tarot deck. I believe I said it's the Tarot of the Divine. We have the Ten of Wands, the Seven of Wands, and the Eight of Coins. Now, the Ten of Wands is putting an end to something after great strife, confusion, complication, pain, hurt. It is the acknowledgement that something is no longer for you. It does not serve you. In fact, continuing in it will hurt you and harm you. It is not for your best interest. This can be putting an end to a work environment. It can be ending a work relationship. As well, it can be ending a personal relationship. Where are you being called to acknowledge that it is time for something to end? What is it that must end? Are you recognizing what in your life has run its course? Is it a friendship? Is it a relationship? Is it some kind of structure with a community entity, a church group, a school, your gym membership, an employer? It really could be anything. Whatever it is something that you identify in your own life. You ought to be able to identify what this is that must be ended. It does not any longer serve you. You are going to be better for moving on beyond it. It is time for you to pick yourself up and move on from whatever this is that causes so much pain and heartache. Next we have the Seven of Wands, and this is a card about erecting strong boundaries. This is about building a defense and being resilient. This is about standing up for yourself. This is about being resolute in who you are and the path that you're taking, and not allowing outside influences to sway you off of that path. You hold your stance, you take a stance and you hold it and you defend it. You defend your territory, you defend your ground. This is a card about having a backbone. This is a card about standing up for yourself, standing behind your convictions. This specific tarot deck uses illustrations from different folklore, and this particular one, this deck utilizes this character who is John Henry from an American folktale out of Alabama. The Seven of Wands represents an indomitable force. Against all odds, John Henry stands up for what he believes in and is willing to fight to the bitter end. His courage and resolve is an inspiration even to those who disagree with him. And this is you flowing your water through the channel, staying the course, keeping on in that direction, having faith in where this water is going to take you, and yet strategizing your next move, because you know that you have to go around bumps, obstacles, rocks, logs, and you know that things will come in, animals perhaps off the riverbanks, to try to sway you off your path, away from your trajectory. Continue to flow within the bounds and confines of the riverbanks, which are a metaphor for the community and social influence around you. Continue on with your flow. You are being asked to continue hammering out hard work, your productivity. Keep doing what you're doing. See it through. Are you making progress? Perhaps your progress cannot yet be seen, but you are working toward your legacy, which you will leave behind for the next generations. And perhaps that legacy is not something tangible. Perhaps it's not a physical object you are creating. Perhaps that is not the work that you're doing. It may be. But your legacy may be, just like John Henry, your story of having done something different, of achieving your goals despite any obstacles or naysayers, despite any blockages. Green Tara is the oracle card from the Goddess Guidance Oracle by Doreen Virtue. This card, Green Tara, says start delegating. Ask others, including me, to help you, instead of trying to do everything by yourself. When you feel resentment in your heart because you're carrying more than your share of the load, you're doing no favors to anyone, including yourself. I just want to take a quick pause here and say that the resentment you may have for the 10 swords in your back, for the need to erect boundaries, is not healthy. Do erect boundaries. Do stand up for yourself. But try to forgive those that stand in your way. Try to forgive those that are of the mind that you cannot do, or you are incapable of doing the things that you believe to be on your path, the goals that you want to achieve. Try to forgive them and don't hold resentment against others, because they do not have the clarity that you have. They do not know any better. Trust yourself, but forgive others. The resentment that you may have, that you could have, is not healthy. You need to ask for help to ensure that you have private time for contemplation and rest. One of the reasons why I'm able to sit so peacefully is that I know the secret of true productivity. It doesn't come through struggle or strife. Rather, it comes from a clear and focused mind that's unchallenged by indecisiveness. This is again to say, do not let the opinions of others sway you from your decisions in regards to the things that you are doing for yourself. Keep that river flowing. You see, making decisions is the shortest route to triumphant passages. Once you make up your mind, the rest follows quite naturally. I therefore urge you to sit quietly and follow the footsteps of your mind. Be open to your heart's meanderings. They will quietly lead you to make your most important decisions, and the rest will fall into place. Tara is a Hindu and Buddhist goddess whose name means star in the ancient Sanskrit language. Her many personality and aspects are represented by different colors. Green Tara is known for being a speedy helper who offers emergency aid and provides rapid understanding of situations and relationships. She rescues us by empowering us to save ourselves. So, I get the message here, and I hope that I've made it clear to you, viewer. There's a path you are following, and perhaps changes that you're making in your life to make your life better. This is to say that if you always do the same thing, you're always going to have the same results, and now is a time where you may be changing up what you are doing so that you have different results, and other people, family, friends, co-workers, etc., especially if you're leaving a job or you're moving out of state or to another country, whatever it is that you're doing, the changes that you're making so that you make a better future for yourself, it's a wise idea. It's a good choice. You may find that those choices are not supported by others because they want and expect you to continue following into the same old patterns, the status quo, etc. They don't want to see this change. And one reason they may not want to see the change is because if you do this for yourself and you change, you get a different result for yourself, that proves that if they put in effort, they could potentially change things for themselves, but they are not making the choices to make those changes for themselves. Right? So you do you. Focus on what you're doing. If you're making new choices for yourself so that you can have different results in your life, bravo. And those that do not support your new choices, they may fall by the wayside. You have to let go of their attachments to the previous choices and patterns that you have lived. If you have chosen to make new decisions for yourself, see those new decisions and choices through so that you can find new results. See those actions through. See those changes come to fruition for yourself, and don't let the doubts and questions of others impose on you, making you turn back to your old choices, to your old patterns, whatever used to feel comfortable for you. Yes, this may feel like a risky path to take, and that's where their fear comes in. This is too risky. But if you have faith in yourself and you trust yourself in the decisions that you're making, you will create a wonderful legacy for yourself. Be calm. Embody the calm tranquility of Green Tara and trust in what you're doing. If you are able to delegate, if you are able to have help in what you're doing as you navigate these new choices, that's great. You may not find that you have those kinds of resources available, but if you have them, wonderful, use those. Follow your path and continue doing what you're doing with integrity. Stand up for yourself and what you believe in. I would suggest you're making good choices for yourself. This is the blend with the choir while remaining solo. Keep doing what you're doing and find a way to sort of do it seamlessly in a community. But use your voice. Remain individual. Follow your unique path. That ought to be the strategy that you have as you move through the weekend to accomplish goals for yourself in the near future. That's the message I have for the weekend reading. Thank you for coming to Compass Starlight.